So Russian scientists working on the virus vax is stabbed and falls out of a 14th floor story window. Thank you for tuning in to HardNews TV4. I'm your host, Terry Lynn, and this is the channel where truth is like archaeology, and every day we're digging for it. Today is December 21st, 2020. So, a Russian scientist working on the virus vax gets stabbed, and they're saying he falls, air quotes, he falls out of the 14th floor window. So he stabbed himself and accidentally fell out the window. Let's get into this. So the Daily Mail is reporting Russian scientists working on the virus 19 vax falls to his death from the 14th floor window. I'm surprised it didn't say 13th. In his underwear after being stabbed in mysterious violent death linked to the virus. A top Russian scientist with close links to Edinburgh University who was working on the virus vax has been found dead in suspicious circumstances at St. Petersburg. Biologist Alexander Sasha Kagansky, 45, best known for his work on fighting cancer, was reported to have fallen in his underwear from the 14th floor window of a high-rise residential building. Somebody just fell out of a high-rise building in California a while back. I can't remember who it was. They just falling like flies, aren't they? So this article says a top Russian scientist who was working on the virus vax has been found dead in suspicious circumstances in St. Petersburg. He was found to fall from his underwear in the 14th floor window of a high-rise flat and was allegedly found with stab wounds. I love his clothes ensemble. Floral with plaids with his lab coat. So anyway, I digress. Let me just go get on with the story. Gee, apparently that's his style, because there he is right there. Fallen in his underwear. So I wonder if it was a Fang type woman, because he's in his underwear. Who else would he let into his flat, his apartment, in his underwear? He'd been working in the city for 13 years. Oh, there's the 13. There's the 13. So let's go to article number 2. Well, I'll call this 1A. So a scientist in his underwear working on the virus vax comes up, gone, adios, taken out. And y'all remember article A1? That the Know the Risk lady, the anti-vaxxer, Brandy Vaughn, she comes up dead 7 days ago. Sheriff's officers investigating the death of anti-vaccine activist Brandy Vaughn, 45. Oh, wow, that's how old the guy was found dead December 7th by her 9-year-old son in the California home. She founded Learn the Risk in a bid to educate people about the vaxes. So a lot of people around this is coming up, taken out. Let's go to article number 2. This article is from yesterday from Yahoo News. A North Korean fisherman was publicly executed. His crime? Listening to foreign radio stations at sea, Radio Free Asia reported. So that's what total censorship looks like. You'll pay with your life for it. And how they're calling everything now fake news. Oh, you're going to get fined, Twitter, Facebook, if y'all promote fake news. Next, it'll be, we will be given our life if we're caught reporting on, quote, fake news or listening to fake news. Because in a total lockdown country, you can only listen to the state-controlled news narrative. So let's get into this. A North Korean fishing boat captain is reported to have been publicly executed for listening to banned foreign radio stations while at sea. Of course, they don't want us to know the truth. Of course, they don't want us to be able to think for ourselves. We're supposed to just be zombies and take what is spoon fed to us. But that's a fool. You know that old saying, there's three sides to a story, your side, his side, and the truth. Uh, the government side, your side, and the truth. But they don't want you digging for the truth. And it's about to cost you more, just like that anti-vax activist cost her life. Article number 3. Now, we just heard about this massive cyber attack. Well, look at what Mitt Romney is saying. Something is about to go down. Russia could cut off U.S. food and water supply in the next cyber attack, Mitt Romney says. So now they might take out our own food supply and blame it on the Russians. Something is about to happen. Russia acted with impunity when it hacked U.S. government servers in a global cyber espionage campaign and could do far more damage next time, like cutting off the nation's water and electricity supply, GOP rhino Mitt Romney said on Sunday. Speaking on NBC's Meet the Press, the Utah senator said the massive cyber attack discovered earlier this week, which officials say could be the biggest hack on the American government ever, must be met with vigorous response and without delay. They potentially have the capacity to cripple us economically. They went to our businesses. They have the potential to cripple us with regards to our water and electricity and so forth. I'll call this 3A just as a refresher and a reminder. June 2019, U.S. escalates online attack on Russia's power grid. U.S. says Russia hackers targeted American power grid. Russian cyber attack on U.S. power grid. So they've been saying this, right? FBI warned Russia's probing energy sector, cyber systems. So it's evident we've been in this ongoing cyber war. Well, look, from 4 days ago, I posted on this a couple of days ago, cyber attack. Russia now has the playbook to take down the U.S. energy grid. The massive cyber attack on major government agencies and Defense Department contractors could be a prelude to an attempt to take down the entire U.S. electric grid, warned a former senior State Department cybersecurity expert. So he said it on Lou Dobbs. All right. And then now Mitt Romney was saying that Russia could take out our food and water supply through the electric grid. So let's look at this, okay? So they're threatening our food supply, and that's going to lead into article number 4. Article number 4 is from today, from the Wall Street Journal. The United Kingdom braces for possible shortages of some foods as France closes border to trade over the new virus strain. So more threats of people not getting their food. So we know that the UK is going on hard lockdown. The UK has braced for potential food shortages and disruption to manufacturing Monday if France continued a ban on freight, as well as people traveling from Britain in an effort to stop the spread of the virus. The move to bar entry from the UK, announced by Paris late Sunday, cuts off Britain's main freight link to Europe, shutting down trade between ports like Dover and Calais that handle up to 10,000 trucks daily. So they're telling people, brace, you might not have no food. This article is from 2 weeks ago. 2021 will be catastrophic. The UN warns of humanitarian crisis as 270 million people may starve. Like there's 300 million Americans. That's like the whole country starving. While 2020 could be one for the record books, the United Nations is out with a new warning that a humanitarian catastrophe could be setting up for 2021. World Food Program Chief David Beasley sounded the alarm at the United Nations General Assembly meeting Friday about the reemergence of the virus pandemic and resulting humanitarian crisis. 2021 is literally going to be catastrophic based on what we're seeing at this stage in the game. Okay? So, warning of global food shortages. Now, the Pope has been calling for a new world government, been calling for obedience to what's ever been offered to us, calling for a global economy. Well, this article is from today from Reuters. Vatican says use of the virus vaccines made from aborted fetal tissue is ethical. So the Catholic Church that is supposedly anti-abortion, the head of their church came out and telling people, don't worry about that, the vaccine is made with aborted babies. Go on and take it. The Vatican told Roman Catholics on Monday that it was morally acceptable for them to use the virus vaccine, even if their production employed cell lines drawn from tissues of aborted fetuses. I'm not even going to get into it. I'll just leave y'all the headline. I'm floored. Let's go to the next article. Now, when I read this article, it just made me think of how close to the last days we must really be. Okay? Christmas star. Worlds will align next week for a celestial event not seen since the Middle Ages. This is from yesterday. Gazing into the night sky Monday, Jupiter and Saturn, the two largest planets in the solar system, will appear closer than they have ever been since the Middle Ages, offering billions of people around the world a celestial treat around the holidays, according to Rice University. Now, what did I think of when I read this? Christmas star, worlds will align next week for a celestial event not seen since the Middle Ages. Well, that reminded me of this. Luke 21, when the disciples asked Jesus what the sign of his coming is going to be. Let's read this. Verse 7. And they asked him, Jesus, saying, Master, but when will these things be? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? And he said, Take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and the time draweth near. Go ye not after them. But when you hear of wars and rumors of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Then he said unto them, Nation shall rise against kingdom, and against nation against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines, starvation, food hunger, pestilences, diseases, and fearful sights and signs shall there be from heaven. So you're going to see signs in the heaven in the last days. Okay? So now let's go to the next article. This is article number 7, and I did a whole video on the Atlas of Surveillance showing how surveilled the world is. Well, this article is from December 7th. UK police are using license plate cameras to track down people visiting pubs in neighboring areas. So, like, some people under more restrictive tiers have been crossing into lesser tiers to be able to socialize, and the police are using license plate readers to know who's in that area. Police in Yorkshire are using number plate recognition cameras to track down people violating lockdown rules by leaving their area to visit a pub in neighboring area with less severe restrictions. So being tracked. Like, and you're like, well, I don't care if they do license plate reading on me. I'm not doing anything I shouldn't. Until you're out doing what you shouldn't be, until it's illegal to go to the grocery store on Tuesdays, and it's Tuesday, and you get what you need. On Wednesday you need more, and all of a sudden they're reading your license plate because you're doing something that the state has said you shouldn't be doing. Just like I did a report that Panama is going to make women shop on one day and men to shop on one day. Right now, what you're doing might not be illegal, but they've got the technology to single out groups of people when they should be obeying the government. Let's go to article number 8. This is the most hypocritical thing I've read in a while. Pelosi claims faith-oriented lawmakers say they don't believe in science. You know how they're all saying believe in science, believe the science? Democratic Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi said Monday that faith-oriented people in Congress have told her that they don't believe in science. California Democrat spoke Monday on the House floor where she discussed the virus relief and recently approved vaccines, accusing the White House of spreading crackery notions of herd immunity. So now we have a vaccine, and that gives us hope, Pelosi said, a vaccine that springs from science. People say around here sometimes, I am faith-oriented, so I don't believe in science. And I say, well, and you can do both. Does that sound like a bunch of malarkey? I've met school-age children that can lie better than that. A vaccine that springs from science. And people say around here sometimes, who are these people, Nancy? Some people say around here sometimes, I am faith-oriented, so I don't believe in science. Who do you think's even talking to Nancy Pelosi? What Christians do you think are talking to Nancy Pelosi and saying, I'm faith-based, so I don't believe in your science? Okay, this is propaganda. Her wanting to shame Christians who believe in the Bible. And let me show you the hypocrisy and why this made me mad. So, let's look at the next article. First of all, we've got the vaccine that's got aborted baby cells in it. And science taught us in reproduction about the sperm fertilizing the egg and a baby is created. Okay, that's science that a human being is created that way. So we're using human body parts in this vaccine. And she's telling us to trust the science when the science is telling us there's a baby in there. But now, the once respected scientific journal, the New England Journal of Medicine, has now gone fully woke. And they're wanting to make it to where birth certificates no longer say baby boy or baby girl. In the latest issue of the New England Medical Journal, 2 doctors and a lawyer. So why is a lawyer writing a paper in the New England Medicine Journal? Okay? 2 doctors and a lawyer, that sounds like a joke. 2 doctors and a lawyer walked to write a paper, have written that it is time to do away with putting a newborn's biological sex, the science, as demonstrated by its external genitalia on birth certificates. The article is behind a paywall, but the summary of it is here for all to see. Sex designations on birth certificates offer no clinical utility, and they can be harmful for intersex and transgender people. Moving such designations below the line of demarcation, I don't know that word, wouldn't compromise the birth certificate's public health function, but could avoid harm. Okay, so now they're no longer looking at the science. They're no longer looking at the science between the sperm and the egg making a baby. They abort the baby. They are using the baby's cells to make the vaccine, so they don't care about that. They're calling it morally ethical to be able to do that. Now, the woke people want to take baby boy or baby girl off the birth certificate. That's science. Do y'all know what a penis is? And do y'all know what a vagina is? I'm not trying to be funny, but look at the science. Why do they pick and choose what science they want to listen to? Okay? The XX and the XY chromosome, they don't want to listen to the science that there's 2 genders, XX and XY. But Nancy Pelosi's trying to shame Christians by saying faith-oriented people don't believe in the science. So they're trying to shame you into getting in line. Well, Nancy, baby, I can't be shamed, so you need to go run game on somebody else, because it ain't going to work on my walnut brain, my hickory nut head. You're not penetrating it. Let God be true and every devil be a lie in Jesus' name. Let's go to article number 9. Article number 9 is about science. Top German COVID expert pours scorn on Boris Johnson's mutant strain claims, saying politicians simply called it 70% more infectious. So politicians are calling it more infectious. Politicians are telling you to believe the science, and scientists are telling you it's not true. I did a report the other day about doctors that are losing their jobs and nurses that are losing their jobs, reporting on the virus. And so if it was true, why are they losing their jobs for speaking out against it? Christian Dorston said he was not so worried about the mutant strain in the UK. He suggested preliminary estimates might have been overblown by politicians who are telling us to believe their science, and they're not even scientists telling us to just believe them. Like we know that politicians are all liars, right? But yet on this, they're telling us to believe them. And the last article, article number 10, look at John Kerry, who is listed as one of the top 13 most powerful members of Skull and Bones. World Economic Forum, Digital Davos 2021 to reveal the Great Reset Initiative. But we've been being told the last few weeks about this conspiracy theory that the COVID is for the Great Reset, and people are throwing this COVID conspiracy, towards Joe Biden. But they're announcing it for themselves. How many people are going to be killed for telling the truth? The World Economic Forum has revealed its Davos 2021 agenda, confirming the annual gathering of political and business elites next month will be a digital event heralding the public unveiling of its Great Reset Initiative. In a preview to the digital Davos dialogues, with the WEF asserts, the time to rebuild trust and to make crucial choices is fast approaching, as the need to reset priorities and the urgency to reform systems grow stronger around the world. Problem, reaction, solution, isn't it? That the book was already written and edited, proofread, published, and on the shelves within 3 months. That's not really a book. The COVID-19, the Great Reset, the book that I talk about, that's not really a book. That's their syllabus. That's their global elite plan laid out. Like, when you go to college and you walk into a class, they give you the book. Okay, this is the syllabus that we're working out of, and it's the blueprint of how the whole class is going to go. Well, they're handing out the Great Reset books for all the elites to read so that they have a training manual on what they need to do. We are seeing the rise of the New World Order. We are seeing the rise of the last days government. The need for global leaders to come together to design a common recovery path and shape the Great Reset in the post-virus world has never been stronger. Does this sound like a conspiracy? So, last month in the WEF panel discussion, former Secretary of State John Kerry laid out one of the possible elements. John Kerry is a skull and bones globalist. So, but they tell us when we talk about it, it's conspiracy. But when the elites all talk about it, it's a grand plan. The emergence of the age of Aquarius. The angels are singing and the skies are shooting out rainbows. So the time is now for us to lay out the new path. Y'all please leave me your comments below and let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.